that we are not here talking about economics. We are not talking about economic activities. We are talking about the philosophy or the theory behind those economic activities. We are not talking about the capitalist system, but about the theory behind that system. The best economic system is a market economy in which individuals and groups of individuals have complete freedom in engaging in economic activity. We can see that the common good cannot be served without the help of states. Think of education, of health care, of global warming. All this, governments have to interfere to ensure that poor people or people have chance for education, have chance for health care, and they must interfere to stop this global warming. All this goes to show that there must be restraints on people's economic activities. The important question now is what kind of restrictions or restraints? Now, there is no answer in the capitalist philosophy to this question, and therefore the intervention has been arbitrary. But because this philosophy is an individualist philosophy, the intervention never went as far as helping the poor people. The result is that you find homeless citizens and citizens who sleep in ditches, even in winter, in some of the richest countries in the world. 6, the problem with the capitalist philosophy is not in its advocacy of market economy, as the socialists used to say, but in its view of that economy. Market economy, as you know, is an economy where people can buy and sell and own and save and work and so on. This is the market economy. And this is a very natural economy. People have always, throughout history, been doing this. And as we will see, this is also the Islamic economy. So the problem of capitalism is not in the fact that it is a market economy, but in its view of that market economy. Many people in the West, and perhaps even sometimes in the Muslim world, don't distinguish between market economy and capitalist economy. Capitalist economy is market economy, but not every market economy is capitalist economy. Sometimes when people in the West are told that in Islam people are given the freedom to buy and to sell and to save, and so they say, oh, your economy is a capitalist economy. No, it is not capitalist economy. Now, someone might ask the question, if all that we have been saying about the capitalist theory is true, why are countries still insisting on calling their economies capitalist and adhering even to some of the harmful effects of the philosophy of capitalism? The answer is that many of them think, and they have this thinking for a long time, many of them think that the only alternative to capitalism is socialism. And socialism has been proven to be a failure. It was a failure in the Soviet Union. Even China is now abandoning it. So they say we don't want to leave a successful economy like capitalism and accept the alternative, which is socialism. Now, I said that Islam is a market economy. And now I would like to say a few words about this economy. Many of you might be surprised if I say that the Quran rejected the capitalist philosophy. Someone might say that this philosophy was advocated only in 18th century Europe by people like Adam Smith. So how can there be a reference to it in the Quran? The truth is that this philosophy predates Adam Smith and 18th century thinking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, the people to whom the rich people, Prophet Shu'aib was sent, did believe in a kind of capitalist philosophy. I would like again to emphasize the fact that there is a difference between the capitalist philosophy and capitalism. Of course, at the time of Shu'aib, there was no capitalism like the one we see in our days. There wasn't. Their economy was rather elementary, only buying and selling and so on. But their philosophy was capitalist philosophy. I would like first to read the verses referring to this in Arabic for the sake of the brothers who understand Arabic, and then read the translation. وَإِلَى مَدْيَنَ أَخَاهُمْ شُعَيْبًا قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ غَيْرُهُ وَلَا تَنقُصُوا الْمِكْيَالَ وَالْمِيزَانَ إِنِّي أَرَاكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ وَإِنِّي أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمْ عَذَابَ يَوْمٍ مُحِيطٍ وَيَا قَوْمِ أَوْفُوا الْمِكْيَالَ وَالْمِيزَانَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين بقية الله خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين وما أنا عليكم بحفيظ قالوا يا شعيب أصلاتك تأمرك أن نترك ما يعبد آباؤنا أو أن نفعل في أموالنا ما نشاء. Those who speak Arabic, remember this phrase, أن نفعل في أموالنا ما نشاء إنك لأنت الحليم الرشيد. And to Madian, we sent their brother Shu'aib. He said, O my people, worship Allah. You have no God other than Him. And do not decrease from the measure and the scale. I see you in prosperity, but I fear for you the punishment of an encompassing day. And O my people, give full measure and weight in justice, and do not deprive people of their due, and do not commit abuse in the earth, spreading corruption. What remains lawful from Allah is best for you if you would be believers. But I am not a guardian over you. They said, O Shu'aib, does your prayer, meaning your deen, your religion, command you that we should leave what our fathers worship, or not do with our wealth what we please? No. Here, Shu'aib told them they cannot be free to do what they want with their wealth. He said, we said in Arabic and in English translation, do this, do that, don't do this. And most of what he said and what prophets and also Prophet Muhammad says, and most of these restraints are in the interest of the poor people. Now, because these people were not real believers, they thought that their wealth, that they own this wealth in an absolute sense. But prophets come to tell people that this wealth is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so He is the real owner of the wealth, and it is He who has the right to tell you how to deal with it. Now, the people of Shu'aib wanted to do what they wanted or what they pleased with their wealth. And the expression laissez-faire, let him do what he likes, seems like a translation of the words of the people of Shu'aib. So according to the Quran, this philosophy is older than Adam Smith or the French European thought.
Explore the options. Match the qualities. Assure the success.
What happens at school, or more specifically, what happens inside the classroom. Good qualities of classrooms: interactive, challenging, collaborative, distributive focus, student-centered. Let's together examine the quality of education that is provided to our children. To judge this quality precisely, join me on Peace TV.
Join Dr. Mamdou Muhammad in Teaching at School today at 5:30 p.m. and repeat telecast at 4 a.m. Saudi Arabia on Peace TV.
Exposing the truth, dispelling lies. What are the differences between the teachings of the Church and the teachings of the Bible? Do they really teach the same thing? Is the Bible truly the Word of God? For a comparative study of truth, join me, Arib Islam, only on Peace TV.
Join Arib Islam in comparative study today at 4 p.m. and repeat telecast at 1:30 a.m. Saudi Arabia on Peace TV.
Where truth is hidden and misleading quotations create confusion. Where truth is hidden, lack of knowledge and wisdom cause upheaval and commotion. Where truth is hidden, manipulated scriptures and twisted facts emerge. This very hidden truth creates false propaganda, mayhem, chaos, disorder, and turmoil in our lives and the world order. But is there anyone with courage and wisdom? What is the truth, and who has the courage to expose it? Because it's your right to know the truth.
Watch truth prevail and lies perish in Truth Exposed by Dr. Zakir Naik, next on Peace TV.
Now, what is the Islamic economy? I say just a few words about it. Capitalism is a market economy within the framework of individualist philosophy. Islamic economy is market economy within the principle of faith and fraternity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human beings so that they may have faith in Him and be brothers in that faith. So according to Islam, this principle of faith and brotherhood is the principle on which all Islamic social arrangements are based. All of them, whether they are political, economic, social, or so on. All of them are based on this principle of faith in Allah and brotherhood. Islamic economy is a market economy because we read in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. Allah made buying and selling lawful, but He forbade riba. So on the one hand, there is freedom to buy and sell. On the other hand, there is a restraint on this, and that is the prohibition of riba. And it is not only the restraint on economic activity is not confined to the prohibition of riba. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but he said something that I found very interesting. He said that if there was a 3% annual tax on capital in the United States, there would have been no poor person in the world. So he was talking only about the United States. What if that 3% tax was levied on people in Europe and other parts of the world? And I found it interesting, as you must have also found it interesting, because the 3% is very much near the zakah, because the zakah is only 2.5% on capital, something like a tax, annual tax on capital. So he said, if that was the case in the United States alone, there would have been no poor person in the world. There are other restraints, as I have said, by Islam on the activities of, people are free, but there are restraints. We mentioned two of them, but there is a general one, which says, كَيْ لَا يَكُونَ دُولَةً بَيْنَ الْأَغْنِيَاءِ مِنْكُمْ. Do not let wealth be circulating among the rich people among you. So governments are required to take measures to have policies that prevent this circulation of wealth among the rich only. Now, I conclude by asking, what will happen now that this philosophy of capitalism has now been criticized and rejected by many people, even in the West, by economists, by heads of states, by leaders, and so on? What will happen after this? It seems that if people are liberated from the shackles of this philosophy, then deal with their economic activities in a commonsensical manner. They will use only common sense and not be restrained by this ideology. And as many people in the West are now saying also, the economic activities should work within the moral values. Moral values, the most important of which is to help the poor and the needy. And it is hoped that if this happens in countries that were capitalist, this will bring the economies of the world nearer and nearer to Islam. In fact, there is already in the United States, and I don't know whether in other parts of Europe, there is already some interest in Islamic economic principles at the academic level. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallahu khairan for that fascinating talk on a very important topic. Now it's time for question and answer session. We have two microphones, one at the front for the brothers and one in the sister section. I would ask, when you come to ask your question, please to give precedence to any non-Muslims that may want to ask a question. Please state your name and your occupation. Please keep your question short and on topic. Jazakallah khair. So can we have the first question from the brothers section, please?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Talat Ansari. I am from Nagpur. Due to this universal recession, some Muslim scholars relate this universal recession to riba, the sood, the interest. If it is so, even if Muslims are in majority to negate riba, why Muslims also face this problem of economy?
Remember, I told you at the beginning of this talk, we are not talking about economics. We are talking only about the philosophy behind that economics. And in Islam, riba is prohibited. But Islam does not say that it is enough to prohibit riba. As I said, there must be zakah, there must be policies that prevent wealth from circulating among the rich only. So riba was a factor in the economic crisis, but it was not the only one, and it cannot by itself, the prohibition of riba will not by itself solve all the problems.
Jazakallah.
Question from the sister section, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Alia Muqaddam and I'm a student of English literature. My question is, the Islamic financial system has set no limits on the margin of profit a person can make in his trade. Don't you think if the selling price is much higher than the cost price, it would be cheating the customers?
No, you cannot do that, and it will not solve the problem. Because remember that in Islam, this is a market economy, and you can make as much profit as you can. But what you are fearing will not happen if other measures are also taken. If riba is prohibited, if zakah is levied, if the wealth does not circulate only among the rich, then there will be, even in Islam, some people who are poor, some who are rich. But we hope that the gap between the two will not be as it is in the capitalist countries. So we cannot do this, because the Prophet was once asked to specify prices. He said, Allah wal musa'ir. We leave this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he said, leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning leave it to what happens just as a result of buying and selling and so on.
Thank you. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. Question from the brothers section, please, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Arif Siddiqui. I am an ex-banker. Sir, socialism is generally considered alternative to the capitalist system of economy if it collapses or fails. Do you want Islam to be, Islamic economy, to be a corrective force to these two systems or an alternative to these two systems? And where is the dividing line, sir?
It is, I said, it is an alternative. First, it is economic, it is a market economy like capitalism. Because market economy, as I said, is the natural economy. People have always been doing this throughout history and in all parts of the world. Socialism, which prohibited this, was an exception, and it did not succeed. So market economy is the natural thing. But